इंक्विलाब टीवी प्राइम टाइम समाचार में आपका स्वागत है।
कोई निर्देश नहीं है, ये तथ्य स्पष्ट होना चाहिए। दूसरी जो महत्वपूर्ण बात है वो ये कि स्वास्थ्य मंत्रालय विभिन्न गतिविधियों को जब जब वो खोली जाती हैं, जैसे निर्णय एक हुआ था कि आप मॉल्स को खोलेंगे या जिम्स को खोल सकते हैं या इकोनॉमी के अन्य गतिविधियों को खोल सकते हैं, तो ऐसी प्रत्येक गतिविधि के लिए स्वास्थ्य मंत्रालय द्वारा एक एसओपी बनाया जाता है। तो इसी प्रकार का एसओपी जब भी कभी शैक्षणिक संस्थाओं को खोलने का निर्णय होता है तो वो एसओपी फिर प्रभाव में आएगा और उसको इम्प्लीमेंट किया जाना होगा।
22.
My question is to DG ICMR. Sir, various sero studies have come up so far, from Delhi where we are told about 28% to Pune where we are told about 51% sero prevalence. Is ICMR aware how many of these sero surveys are now following up with studying neutralizing antibodies, which will actually tell us what was the prevalence of immunity? And my second question is, ICMR also did one round of sero survey at few places, and it was long back. Are those findings published in any paper yet? If not, why, and when can we expect them to be published?
Yes, I'll answer the second question first. The ICMR sero survey is is publication in process. It should appear hopefully by this week in the Indian Journal of Medical Research. It has been peer reviewed by several. It has gone to two rounds of peer review, and that has been done, and it will be published definitely by this week as we stand, because that's what the editor told me. The first question regarding various sero surveys, yes, it is this. Most of the sero surveys are being conducted by the states. We have from the ICMR embarked on the second national sero survey, and that is also work in progress, should be completed hopefully by the first week of September, and we will have results of that available. Having said regarding antibodies, most of the sero surveys are looking at antibodies. Neutralizing antibodies, T-cell responses, etc. are not being studied in these large sero surveys. However, most of these states, wherever they're conducting sero surveys, they do send us the results and the reports, and they are being compiled as well.
37.
सर, मैं अशोक हूँ एनआई से। मेरा सवाल ये है कि कोरोना के जो तीनों वैक्सीन हैं उनके स्टेटस क्या है और वो तीनों कौन से स्टेज पे हैं। दूसरा सवाल ये है कि क्या हम लोगों ने कुछ ऐसा नियम बनाया है कि जो अभी इंटरनेशनल फ्लायर हैं वो बिना RT-PCR टेस्ट कराए वो फ्लाई कर सकते हैं।
कोरोना वैक्सीन
जैसे कि मालूम है कि 3 वैक्सीन्स इस समय भारत में कुछ थोड़ा आगे बढ़ चुकी हैं, और 3 और वैक्सीन हैं जो प्री क्लिनिकल स्टेज में हैंगी। जो 3 जो आगे बढ़ चुकी हैं उसमें सीरम इंस्टीट्यूट वाली वैक्सीन है जो फेज़ 2B और 3 की स्टेज में चली गई है, शुरू हो गई है, और जिसमें 1700 मरीज़ों को स्टडी किया जाएगा। और दूसरी भारत बायोटेक की वैक्सीन है जो फेज़ 1 की स्टडी में 375 मरीज़ को कंप्लीट कर चुकी है और सेकेंड फेज़ शुरू करेगी। और तीसरी जाइडस कैडिला की है जिसमें कोई फेज़ 1 की कंप्लीट हुई है उनकी, कोई 45 या 50 मरीज़ की, और सेकेंड फेज़ उनकी शुरू होने वाली है। तो ये पोजीशन है, और शुरू होने वाले इसमें फेजेज़ में आप लोग को ये समझना ज़रूरी है कि पहले 1 डोज वैक्सीन की मिलती है, क्योंकि ये हमेशा 2 डोज वैक्सीन है। तो पहले 1 डोज मिलेगी, उसके 14 दिन या 28 दिन बाद दूसरी डोज मिलेगी, और उसके बाद कम से कम 2 हफ्ते के बाद उनकी एंटीबॉडी रिस्पांस, या 4 हफ्ते के बाद एंटीबॉडी रिस्पांस देखी जाती है ब्लड में कि एंटीबॉडीज पैदा हुए या नहीं पैदा हुए।
10. Yes, madam.
Sir,
Please, I think you have already asked 2 questions. Just let one ask the question.
So you have been mentioning that India has now increased its recoveries, and we are seeing a lot more recovered patients. But so there have been some complaints from the recovered patients themselves who have been admitted back into the hospitals with respiratory problems such as lung fibrosis. So we were hearing that some kind of post-COVID care facilities will be started. So could you give us more information on that? And how is the government looking at hand-holding hospitals across the country in states to do that?
There is a technical committee in the Ministry of Health which is headed by Director General Health Services. It's called the JMG. It consists of domain knowledge experts from different central government hospitals, from AIIMS New Delhi, from WHO India office, and even domain knowledge experts from outside the government. So that body, as I have shared with you earlier, is working on a document, a guidance document for people who recover from COVID and the possible complications that may arise and how to address those complications. To finalize that document, this technical body, the JMG, is obtaining data of the recovered patients from central government hospitals and AIIMS across the country, and those patients specifically who have come back with certain complications and have then been treated.
99.
So my question is, my first question is to both Mr. Bhargava and Mr. Bhushan, and that is regarding the breakup of RT-PCR and antigen tests. So why are we not being made available that breakup? Also the accuracies. If at all antigen has less accuracy, then I mean, what would the implications on the testing numbers look like? When we look at more recoveries, do we also look at it from the testing angle? That is the question.
Yeah.
And
I think just let the first question be answered, I think, one by one. Yeah.
and just what is the relevance of sero surveys? I mean, if they are not giving you the T cell response, etc., then what is the relevance of conducting it at all, and probably what kind of costs go into it?
Yeah, in terms of your percentage of tests and the rapid antigen tests, we have to clearly tell you that the RT-PCR tests are still growing at a rapid rate. We are setting up new labs to test RT-PCR more. Some states have found the antigen test slightly simpler and therefore have reduced the RT-PCR test by 1 to 2 or 2 to 3%, and they do not show the national rise which is being shown across the country in terms of RT-PCR tests. The antigen tests have grown and would represent anywhere across, because they vary from state to state. So if you look at the national average, there would be around 30 to 40% in terms of antigen tests, but many of them, if they are symptomatic, have to be followed by an RT-PCR test. So that adds to the number of RT-PCR tests. In terms of sensitivity, that has been discussed several times. The specificity is nearly 100% for both the tests, but sensitivity for the rapid antigen tests varies from, is of moderate nature and could be anywhere between 60 to 85%. However, the RT-PCR sensitivity could be anywhere from 80 to 95%, depending on the situation and how the sample has been collected and at what time of the illness the sample has been collected. Your question regarding serosurvey is an important one, because serosurveys are important to guide us in terms of where we are at the what phase of the epidemic are we in this particular area, and what we need to do in terms of our public health response, in terms of our containment zones, enhancing them, increasing them, making micro-containment zones, further isolating those people who are showing high prevalence. So that is the purpose of the serosurvey, to guide the policymakers how to, and that has happened right from the first serosurvey to the various state serosurveys, and that is why we have this example of how successful we have been in various mega cities.
33.
सीरो प्रिवेलेंस पर मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगा, ये महत्वपूर्ण बात है, तो इसको हिंदी में भी समझाना ज़रूरी है कि सिग्निफिकेंस क्या है। हम सीरो प्रिवेलेंस सर्वे क्यों करते हैं? हम इसलिए करते हैं कि हम जानें कि इन्फेक्शन का स्प्रेड क्या है, एकेडमिक एक्सरसाइज तो अलग चीज़ है, लेकिन जो लोग ज़मीन पर लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं उनके लिए ये जानना ज़रूरी है कि इन्फेक्शन का स्प्रेड क्या है। मैं आपको उदाहरण से समझाता हूँ। दिल्ली में पहला राउंड सीरो प्रेवलेंस का हुआ एनसीडीसी के नेतृत्व में, और इसमें मिड जून का जो इन्फेक्शन था उसको कैप्चर करने का प्रयास किया गया। दूसरा राउंड दिल्ली सरकार ने किया और उसमें मिड जुलाई के इन्फेक्शन को कैप्चर करने का प्रयास किया गया।
इंक्विलाब टीवी समाचार आपको अच्छे लगे तो शेयर कीजिए, सब्सक्राइब कीजिए, कमेंट कीजिए।